いや、僕、Okay. Could you please tell me on the chat if you can hear me? It's the first time I'm streaming on this computer and I want to try if everything works. You should be able to hear me and hear the music a bit. Okay. Okay. Hello. I'm going to sketch a bit. And yeah, I'll just switch to my camera. Okay, so this is my first stream on the Mac Mini. So this is the Apple Silicon Mac Mini, and I have my camera here above my table. So I think everything should be okay, but yeah, I don't know because this is the first time. So if something happens, I'll probably be back after fixing, so it should be okay. And today I'm going to sketch in this sketchbook, which is like the Fabriano sketchbook, which is like big A4 size thing, and it has this hot pressed paper, which is not very thick. It's like this kind of thin, but as you can see, it works with watercolors okay-ish. And I'll be using these watercolors, which are the Mijello Mission Gold set, the usual set. And I want to sketch a scene which is based on a place that I go to run. I'll show you the reference photo that I have. I will be sketching this place, but I'll be sketching it in a bit different color mood. This is just a regular photo that I took. And yeah, I want to sketch this scene, but I went for a run about 2 hours ago, and it was already like getting dark, and I saw this place with nice lighting, and I would like to see if I can sketch it in this kind of nicer lighting. Wait a second. なんかいる？そう？ OK. Okay. And I have also your chat here, so if you want to chat to me about something, that's okay also. Okay. So first I want to do a really light, like under drawing, like a sketch with, I'll be using a Blackwing natural. Let me zoom a bit. Let me focus. Yay. I did, let me see where is the center of this. Okay, so here, here, and about here, and here. Okay, so that's okay. So I did, I went to the animation business because I went to Japan to study comics and animation, and I was not so good at drawing people actually, because I don't know, I didn't practice drawing people so much when I was a teenager, and I preferred doing like I preferred doing buildings and like scenery, and when other people were just like copying drawings from, I don't know, like Sailor Moon or like Kapitan Tsubasa or whatever, I was not actually allowed to watch anime. I was allowed to watch like some cartoons, but not Japanese anime. So I actually kind of started watching Japanese stuff when I was already like in my university in Poland, like I was 20 something, and at that time I already started painting digitally, and I painted mostly scenery, and so when I went to Japan to actually study like animation and comics. I wanted to do comics mostly, but if I could do some like animation, that would also be okay. I was not really good at it. I mean, there were a lot of people who the only thing they did was like drawing characters, like were really dynamic and really nice. And well, I was not really good at it. So I started to do more like scenery and interesting camera angles and all these kinds of tricks that I knew to make my work interesting. And yeah, so my professor actually advised me not to do like a comic, but to do an animation for my graduation work in Japan, and try to get into the animation business with this, and it worked. Yeah, so that's that. And I needed to get into an animation studio and work as a full-time kind of employee, because if I didn't get the full-time employment, I would not get a visa and I would not be able to stay in Japan. So I needed to be like hired, actually. So I tried to do an animation that would be like the best quality that I was able to do at that time, and yeah, like now I when I look at it, it's not really nice. I would fix a lot of things there, but yeah, at that time it was okay-ish. I mean, I did lots of nice backgrounds in it, and I like some of the cuts I did there, but yeah, if I would do it now, I would probably do something different at all. I mean, that's kind of obvious because I'm not the same person as I was, but yeah. So I saw this kind of cloud here, which was more or less like this weird shape, like these three waves, and it had like a nice shadow underneath. So I'm trying to draw it right now here, and I add also here a cloud, so it's not so lonely and like looks like it's made up, like a fake cloud, like I put it on here on purpose. So now I want to add some like trees here. So this is like still really light. I try to not to push on the pencil so much. I try to like decide where stuff goes, but it's still like at this stage of the drawing when I'm just trying to figure out where all the buildings are and what I want to put in it. So like there's like a building here in the back and two buildings here, and I want to make these buildings still bright, so they will still be like lit up by the like evening light, and these buildings or here in the front will be kind of already in the shadow, so they'll be like nice and dark and Shit, I can move it. Can I move the camera a little bit? Yeah. Not so much. I'm kind of out of frame. I'll zoom out. I use a knife. I have like this knife. This round part is for like sharpening, and this part is for sharpening the lead. So I can make it really sharp if I want to, and because I hold my pencils really far and I don't press so much on it, I can make it really long and it doesn't break. And the Blackwings have a really nice lead quality, and it doesn't break so much. It breaks sometimes, but not so much. So buildings here, and just add some clouds here and there, and this will be like water here on the bottom. I'll just show you the reference again. So I'll just completely ignore the lighting from this photo and make it into something I want. Okay, so let's now take a bit more softer pencil and start to add some more details. Like this maybe. I like to have like two, so even if one breaks, I can just switch to some other ones. These are the ones that have the balanced lead, so not the softest, but like quite soft. Hello. Okay, so usually when I sketch and I want just a light sketch, I use the ones that are extra firm, so the ones that are kind of hard-ish, like B or something. But when I want some smoother lines, I use the balanced. But the soft ones, the ones that are the softest ones, they don't work so well with watercolors because it's easy to just how do you call it? Smudge them. Okay, so let me zoom a bit. When do you do when you're in an art block? That's a very relevant question because I'm in a quite of an art block right now. I don't really know. I try to do a lot of things. I think that if you just try to do the same thing over and over again, it's kind of hard to get out from an artistic rut. So I would try to do different things, like use different tools, maybe you try different themes, do something completely out of your kind of genre of usual work. Maybe do something that is just fun for you. For me, it's like doing something that you feel like comfortable with. So for me, like doing a sketch like this, for example, is something that I feel very comfortable with. It's not something that I have to think so much about when doing. That's why I can talk to you. And yeah, just kind of try to relax while doing art. I think that it's really easy right now to kind of get into this mindset that you have to do something that's perfect, because if it's not perfect, it will not work on your Instagram or whatever. And if it will not work on your Instagram, it doesn't have any meaning, and that's just not true. So I mean, try to be a bit more gentle with yourself, with your art, and just do something that's fun for you, for example. But yeah, also doing something like for fun, like a hobby, also helps. Like something that you do only for fun can give you a lot of inspiration. That later can be translated into your work in a way that you don't even realize. So, for example, as a hobby, I like to fix old things like old game consoles like Game Boys and stuff, and I used to buy like junk, like $5 or whatever um, stuff, and then try to repair them. We don't have so much space in our apartment, so I just have to stick to small things. I would like to try to repair some, I don't know, old computers or whatever. But yeah, so recently I have been playing around with like old palm tops, so like these kind of devices that I also repaired and do stuff with. So it will not connect directly with the things that I do. I will not paint it or whatever, or paint with it. But I kind of allow myself to have this time to just have fun with I don't know, soldering iron, so I can relax, and maybe it will give me some ideas for that I can translate into my art. But if it doesn't, it's just, it's okay. Yeah, I think so. I can give you a tour of the apartment. Especially recently, we had some visits from TV crews and everything, so we had to clean the apartment really nicely. So on the next occasion that we do stuff like this, maybe I'll just use my camera also and take some footage of the apartment. Especially that we really don't like the idea of having the Olympics here, because we live like in center of Tokyo. So we feel really apprehensive about the idea of just people coming to Tokyo in this kind of pandemic time. It would be really easier for us if they actually canceled it. And so probably we'll have to move apartment before the Olympics. We'll try to move. So before moving, I'll try to do a video about our current apartment. Yay! I feel about like yeah, like NHK crews and stuff. I feel a bit more comfortable about doing characters because when I came to Japan, I really tried to draw and paint like they do, which was of course impossible for me because I didn't have like I didn't do like this style of drawing from when I was a kid, and they did. Like they had mountains and mountains of sketches from like various comics and all kind of characters and all stuff that they did from when they were children. So I just could not imitate this style, and now I feel like I should not tried at all, and that's okay, because you can just draw in whatever style you want, and if it fits your work, that's okay. So now I try more like the art style that kind of comes natural to me, and I feel better about what I produce actually. And also because of Kana's influence, I think I'm a bit better about drawing people. I just use my senses, I guess, but I would like to spend some time learning, maybe not anatomy, but especially I would like to try to do some like live drawing of characters, of people. I haven't done it so much, and it would be nice to build up my library of like basic shapes of human figures and stuff, so I can then kind of use those parts of the library to do my own characters. That's why I do with like buildings and shops, because I do sketches like this, which build up my library of parts and ideas that I can use later. I can then do original stuff, and so it's not like empty. If I need a bridge, I can draw this bridge, for example, because I already drew it and I know it and I have it kind of in my head. So I would like to draw a lot of live drawing classes stuff, but of course now I cannot go for a live drawing class, so I guess I'll have to just do with some photos, or like we'll pose to each other with Kana or something. I'll show you the reference for a second. Yeah, I have more sharper pencil than this one. Let me just take a piece of paper. Konbanwa. Yeah, I don't remember when last I was in a live drawing class. That's why I would like to do some more. It's really useful, I guess, but for me, I don't think that I transition actually. I think it's the same. The tools are different, and there are different things that you can do with digital but you cannot do in traditional, and so on. But for me it's more or less the same, like using I don't know, gouache versus watercolors or something. So it's just the different characteristics. In digital you can do layers, and in traditional you cannot do layers, but in watercolors you can make nice blending with just like paint, and it's kind of natural. But in digital you have to really work to make nice gradients. So like each of these media has like downsides and upsides, and upsides. But I don't think that my kind of thought process when I'm drawing or painting really changes so much when I'm drawing digital versus analog. It's just I have to accommodate that the tool is different and it can do different things and it does it differently. But that's all actually. I think that my thinking process when I'm doing digital is similar to what I would do with, I don't know, acrylic gouache with but just with layers. So yeah, I'm going to paint it with watercolors when I do the lines. So yeah, I would speed up a little bit. But it will be rough colors. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this today. Hi. There's like a building here in the background. Yeah, the eraser is a thing that I got from like working in the animation studio, like the animators who still draw like animation frames, like the characters with pencils on paper. They use these kind of rotary electric erasers to just like really nicely erase some small details, because if you don't do it like really nice and really thoroughly, it will show up when you scan it and do the cleanup process. So they almost only use like these electric erasers, and they also use electric pencil sharpeners, so like these things that you put like pencil in and it comes out really nice and sharp. So actually the studio is quite noisy with this, but I like it. I actually think that it's kind of nice to have like this unique sound of a workplace there, not only like computer sounds. Happy little trees. It's winter, so some of the trees are like without any leaves. Just draw some branches. Yeah, like eyeballing stuff is um, really important, I guess. If you get too obsessed with measuring stuff, you get a bit stiff. The picture can get a lot stiff, and especially if you see like recently we read a lot of comics with Kana, especially Kana reads a lot of comics, and I just look at it at what she's reading. Like a lot of the backgrounds are like really stiff because they have like straight lines, so the lines are really nice and straight, but it makes the picture kind of stiff. So I don't worry about like dimensions being perfect so much. I worry more about the building being kind of logical, so it has windows in the right place and doors in the right size and so on. And about atmosphere and like the size of things and shadows and lighting, more than just lines being perfectly straight and things being perfectly sized. I can draw really straight lines, but I think that shaky lines like these kind of natural lines are more kind of interesting. They feel more alive. Even if I'm doing drawings or paintings digitally, I try not to use any like helper tools or anything, because I feel that the lines that I can do that are kind of nice and shaky are just better. I'll just show you one thing. I got this from the documentaries of Hayao Miyazaki. So if you draw a letter T, for example, if you don't think about it, you just draw a T, and it's not so interesting. But if you kind of put some effort in it and make it a bit nice and kind of shaky, it's kind of nice and interesting. But you have to think about what you're doing, because if you don't think what you're doing, your hand will naturally draw just a straight T, and that's all, and it's not so interesting. So I really like this kind of explanation. So in most of my drawings, when I don't have to be like really accurate, I like to make the lines like nice and wavy and shaky, so each line is a bit interesting at least. And also of course I'm trying to get the lines to represent what I want them to represent, so three-dimensional objects. Okay. So here is the reference. I'm just going to move the camera a bit. Okay. So when your pencil tip is really long, you can just sharpen it like that. I have the electric sharpener because I used it when I was doing animation by hand, but I kind of like to use the time that I have to spend sharpening the pencil to think and relax a bit. I don't think I have preference. I like both. They both have like downsides and upsides. I like traditional art because I have the final piece. So there is actually something I can show and like maybe not sell necessarily, but there is like a final thing that I have in my hand. I guess I could just print something that is digitally painted, but I don't think it's the same. And I like traditional art because of the randomness that you can get from some tools that is really hard to get when painting digitally. But then again, I like digital because it allows me to do some things faster and more efficiently, and allows me to do some color combinations that are impossible to do traditionally. Like I can mix yellow and blue and get some colors that I cannot do with watercolors, because usually I would just get green and that's all. But in digital color mixing, it doesn't work that way, so you can get away with some things that you cannot get away with when painting traditionally. Okay, let's move to the right side. Yes, I break the lid when I sharpen it sometimes. It's inevitable, I guess. But I try to do it like really gently, and most of the times it's okay. With these pencils it's okay. With I have like these like a bit weird pencils, which are the big evolution pencils that are like supposed to be unbreakable, so non-breaking, and they were like popular in Poland for like children for schoolwork, but they are kind of weird and plasticky, so the lead is not like in traditional pencils. It's probably some kind of plasticky thing, and they are really hard to sharpen with anything. I don't know, have any one of you used these kind of pencils? It's like these ones. I use them because they are a bit hard and weird and plasticky, and they leave really light lines. So it's good for like under drawings, for paintings that I don't want the line to stand out. Yeah, they were the commercials were saying that these pencils don't break, so of course we tried to break them, and yeah, they break. I personally don't think they are harder to break than a regular pencil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More or less. Okay. Yeah, these are the Conte ones, but the Conte company was bought out by Big, so now they are Big Evolution and not Conte Evolution. I don't know if the whole company was bought out or just the pencils were bought out, but it's the same one. It's the Conte one that was Conte, but now it's Big. just a knife, a nice knife, but you don't have to have a nice knife. It's like a good craft knife is enough for sharpening like this. There's also here a building in the back, and I want to paint it because I would like to have some buildings that are far away that can have like the lighting different than the buildings here in the front. So I will paint it in, draw it in, I guess. Yeah, I have used automatic pencils, especially when I was doing comics. I used like 0.7 and 0.9. These are the ones that I like the most. I don't like 0.5 or 0.3 so much. I used them a little bit when I was in the university. Especially that for the 0.5 you can get blue lead, like blue, really light blue, which is nice for an underdrawing because you don't have to erase it when you scan it. When you scan it and you have the blue like sketch, you can just turn the blue channel off in Photoshop and you don't have to erase it. So when you ink on top of it, you don't have to be afraid that then you will have to erase the pencil sketch and you will smudge the ink, which is useful and makes work a bit faster. So I used I used it a lot for drawing, like underdrawing for comics, but yeah, that's it. No, the brand of the pencil doesn't matter. It just you have to have nice ones that have good quality lead, and that's it. So you can use Mitsubishi and you can use Tombow, you can use Blackwing, which is actually, the lead is also made in Japan. You can use any brand that you like if it's like nice and smooth and it does what you want it to do. The only brand that is kind of popular but I don't like these pencils is Kohinoor, because I think that they're kind of hard and not, they kind of be scratchy. Yeah, I like uni pins. I have done some illustrations with them recently also for a project that I cannot yet reveal. Oh, there are a lot of you, actually. Hi to everyone. I watch anime sometimes. If you know my channels and my blogs and stuff, is I don't really like these kind of cutesy representation of female girl characters, so I tend to avoid them, but apart of that I like animation. I like the Blackwings. The only thing that kind of is a bit disappointing about them is that they are not so popular, especially in Japan. So sometimes when you buy them, the stock is a bit old. So you can get erasers that are really hard and kind of weird. Like the rubber is old, so I have to buy replacement erasers and replace them, so it's better, nicer to use. I actually use the erasers on the end a lot, so that's why I use Blackwings more than Japanese pencils, because the Japanese pencils sadly don't have erasers. Okay, let's go for the watercolors. I will be using this set, like these colors here. This is the Mijello how do you call it? Like the pure pigment set. So this is a set that all the colors are single pigment paints. So it's nice for mixing, and it's nice for keeping things really vibrant. But you have to be careful because even really diluted, these are strong colors, so it's easy to kind of overwhelm your painting with them. Okay, I'm just cleaning my palette. And let's see what brush I will use here. Maybe these. Recently I have been using a lot of the Escoda Perla, which are really nice brushes, but they are kind of sharp at the end. If I wet it, you will see that it's like really sharp. But this painting is like a sketch more or less, so I don't want to do it so... no, Mijello is I think Korean. So I will use these. This is Raphael, like the travel brush, and this is Raphael Soft Aqua, like the usual ones that I use. These are a bit more round, so it's good for like a sketch like this. Okay, and I have a towel, paper towels, some palettes, and paper to try colors, and that's it. And I have grapefruit Haribos, which are awesome. Okay, so first I think I'll put some really light, like orange tones on the sky. And then I'll make a gradient from top of the buildings like down. Okay, let me mix a nice color. And let's start really diluted. I want to go from like orange here to more reddish, and then blue here at the top. Okay. Let's see how it goes. I can zoom more a bit. I'm trying to keep this part wet so I can add some color to it. So I'm adding a lot of water. Okay, and now let's add a bit of red to it on top, and then I'll use like a ultramarine probably. It looks a bit tea-like, huh? The camera fakes the colors a bit. To get good in watercolors, it took me a long time. I don't want to be discouraging here because it's easy to take it this way, but I started doing watercolors when I was in middle school, I guess. So it took me about, I don't know, 20 years and a lot of trial and error, I guess. This paper is not really well suited for this amount of water. Let's This will not be surprising, but I like sushi very much. So if I have a chance to eat really nice sushi, it's nice, but also I just like the regular one that you can just get from these conveyor belt sushi places, so the cheap ones, or even sushi that's like from a supermarket here. It's really nice. So I'm trying to get the sky a bit darker so the cloud can be highlighted by the sun, still orange. So I guess I have to do the sky a bit darker. Just a little bit. Something like this. Working with paper that has almost no texture has its downsides, because it doesn't look so nice as in like a good watercolor paper, but the upside is that you can get away with some paint drying on you and then reactivating with just like vigorous scrubbing of the brush. So if I don't want the edge somewhere, I can try to scrub on with my brush and kind of reactivate the paint and get rid of these like wet, like darker edges. Okay, and let's try to add a bit more orange here at the bottom. Okay, and while this dries, I'll just try to adjust the color a bit so it matches more what's actually on my paper. Let's see. Something like this more. Yeah, can I adjust a bit the yeah, this is more like it, I guess. Okay, let me dry this quickly. Nice. So I'll paint this cloud orange, like really light orange, because I want to make it stand out from the sky. So let's do it. The light is probably coming like from here, so these places will be the lightest. Let's try to leave a bit of white here and there so it looks like a cloud more. Sponsored by Panasonic. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because YouTube will put a Panasonic brand on it. In Japan is what, almost 8 p.m. So I went for a run and I saw this cloud and I was like, this cloud is nice, I want to paint it. So I already had a photo of this place because we go there for walks sometimes, and so I'm using this as a template, but I want to make it into an evening. Okay, so the buildings in the background also will be like this orange color, really light orange. Because these tall buildings are far away and are still lit up with the evening sun. So here and here and here, like these things here, and this one on the right side too. Let me just pick up some paint. Hi to everyone, the old and new subscribers. Okay. So like this, and this has already dried, so I'll add a bit of shading to it. Move the light a bit so it's not so reflective. I'll scan this properly later so you can see the colors a bit better, but okay. Yeah, this angle is better. I'll just make it brighter on the camera. Okay, and I'll just dry this. I really have to put a sticker here. Alright, and let's add a bit more shadow there. I'm using the paint which is really diluted, so I can layer it and control it a bit more. Yeah, practice makes perfect, but there is nothing like perfect, which is really important to remember. Practice makes better, maybe is a better way to say this. Okay, so I want to do this part, like these buildings here, also a nice gradient. So maybe I'll take a bigger brush, like this one. Nah, there's no perfect. so you cannot get closer to it. There are just works that have depth in it, or I don't know, some kind of quality that makes them special, but no, nothing is perfect. Like even the best works that you can see somewhere are not perfect. Maybe a white piece of paper is perfect, but as soon as you start doing something with it, it ceases to be perfect. So the only artists that can make perfect works are the ones that don't do anything, or the first artist who just put a white piece of paper in a museum, but that already has been done. So tough luck for the rest of us, I guess. Okay. Yeah, so let's just begin with whatever part of this. Nah, I bet if you asked anyone, like I don't know, Picasso or whatever, and you ask them, do you think that this picture is perfect? They will be like, I don't know, I didn't get these legs right, or this table is kind of crooked, or whatever. This smile is not mysterious enough, or whatever. So I think that like perfection is something that is like an illusion. Yeah, so this is just before sunset, or it's like during sunset. So I want to paint it so the front buildings are all in shadow. So I am trying to make a nice gradient here that I can later add shadows and details to. Just like this. Okay. And let's just dry this out. So now, of course, some of the things that are here are darker than the rest of the piece. So like the water, let me show you the reference. So the water gate is kind of dark. The building on the right is kind of dark. There's like a pink building on the left and kind of dark red, kind of earthy building in the middle, and some of the like how do you call it? Water walls are darker, and the trees of course are kind of dark. So now that we have like the base color here, I'm trying to add some of these things here, but I don't want to overdo it. So just some of these. Let me zoom a bit, maybe. Crank the camera. Okay. And I try not to use black. And try not to be too dark. Because if we... this is already kind of in shadow. So if we turn up the contrast of the shadows that we now do too much, it will lose this... how do you call it? The unity of like one shadow plane. Unity of shadow plane. It's like a nice title of a indie band. I am just mixing some random blues and earth tones. This is how I usually make my like grays and dark colors. So if you want to mix nice neutral tone, it's really easy to do that by mixing like opposite colors. So if you have a warm blue, it has some yellow in it. You mix it, like what I'm talking about. Yeah, you mix it with a warm, like red-like earth tone, and it kind of makes a nice neutral gray. Yeah, ultramarine is really nice for mixing grays, but ultramarine is warm blue. I have been using helio turquoise for a lot of time, so this is like kind of yellowish blue, and it's also really good for mixing like neutral tones. I'm adding a bit of green here and there. A bit of yellow maybe. Okay. Now this is certainly not 300 grams. I don't know what paper weight it is, but it's really thin. Actually, this is just like a sketchbook. For I don't think it's actually made for watercolor sketching. I got it to try to do some drawing in it, but it's nice and big, so I do watercolors in it also. This is Fabriano brand sketchbook, which is this kind of weird like brick pattern cover. I sadly don't think they make it anymore, but maybe you can buy some new old stock as I did, because I also found about it after already they finished making it. But if you look online, maybe you can still find a one that's in stock. Hi everyone, if you want me to talk about something, just ask in the chat. I will not answer everything because some things I answered already like many times, but yeah. No, it's the Mission Gold set, so the with the pure pigments one. I think there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24 plus black or some or white. I think 24 colors. I think by practicing. That's a weird answer, but like trying to get like this feeling from a painting, it's just like trial and error, I guess. You can try to copy some colors from a painting that you like, that has the atmosphere that you're aiming for, into your own photo that is kind of similar, for example, and try to learn the decisions that the person who made the original painting made. So like transplanting the colors from your painting that you like into your own work. I would like to do figure drawing. We actually want to do some more with Kana, but by the way, for those of you who don't know, Kana is my wife, and she's a manga artist, and also does animation and illustrations and stuff. But right now she is doing 2 monthly comics in Japanese magazine. Okay, I tried not to do too much color here to not break this union of shadow. Okay. Can you move it a bit more left? Okay. New band name, certainly. The Union of Shadow Plane. Their first song will be called Caput Mortum. No, I don't think I will use a fine liner on this. This is like a sketch, so I'm not really I don't really care that the lines are faint so much here. I wanted to show this light here on the clouds, and I can do it like without making the lines. Maybe if I feel like it, I'll add a bit of like fountain pen lines, but I don't think so. Do you have any tips on producing more work? Try a comic. Try a comic or an animation. For a comic or an animation, you have to do a lot of work, which is obvious. But it's a bit easier if you have a kind of deadline for a comic, which is a lot of pictures. And it makes it easier kind of to draw a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, because you just have to. With an illustration is it's a bit, you have a lot of time to do one illustration, right? So you can just do it like one day and spend the rest not doing art. But with a manga or for example an animation, you have to paint a lot of stuff. So it's a kind of weird method of just doing a lot of work, making yourself do a lot of work. And I think I progressed the most as an artist when I was doing like bigger things, like a series of illustrations or a comic or an animation. So you have to do a lot of stuff. Oh, I just that's a shame here. I should have left the windows like bright. I can scrub the paint a bit here like this. Okay, that's actually okay. Let there be, well, just a bit brighter paper. But to make a bit of contrast with this, I'll just paint the building a bit darker. I don't think that Bristol paper is good for watercolors, so why use it? Actually, this paper also is not so good for watercolors, so why do I use it? Just because I wanted to do a sketch. So yeah, but I would not use it for like a illustration for a magazine, for example, or something that I would like to put in a book. It's a good sketchbook to just try some stuff and do some concept art for a bigger project, which is why I actually bought it. I also thought that maybe I can use it for a comic, like just do a comic with, I don't know, pencils or something with it in it, and then just scan it and that's it. So maybe I'll just do it. I still have a lot of pages in it. I'm only on page like 2, so okay, and some shadows here. Thank you. Okay, my battery in my camera is going kaput in few seconds. I have a spare, so do not worry. There will be a technical break, but I'll be back probably. Gouache is better on Bristol paper. You can actually use gouache or acrylic gouache on any paper that it has good sizing, and it does not like go weird and gray when you put stuff on it, because this also happens sometimes. So if you paint with water, just like water on paper, and it does not go like weird gray and transparent, then it should work okay with stuff like gouache or acrylic gouache. Like I had some problems with paper that was it should work with, and we are back, and we need to focus. Okay. I don't know, I actually like it. I'll just leave it and see what happens when I dry. Yeah, it actually looks nice. Sorry for that. I have to mute the microphone. I think I started drawing and painting more seriously when I was in my like high school. Like I did some things when I was before that, but I didn't like treat it seriously. But in high school, I started to paint and do a lot of things digitally. I started to make things like online comics and stuff, so I actually started to think about it as one of my skills and not just something I did. So I started to think about a career because I actually was really lucky that a company that was selling the Wacom tablets, Wacom tablets, actually asked me to participate in events so I can show live to people how to use these graphical tablets while drawing or painting or like modifying photos or doing stuff with like photos. Because even though they were good at selling those tablets, they were not really good at using them, so they could not actually show people how to use them, which was a big minus for them. So even though I did not think that I can like make art to sell it, actually, I started to think that maybe I can use this skill for something that will be useful enough for someone to make money with it. But I thought that maybe I would be like making graphical things for websites, or making I don't know, like DTP, like printing stuff. I did not think that I would be able to work by just making things. especially just things that I make by myself and then try to sell. But this is probably also because of the country. I don't know. I don't think that if I stayed in Poland in the late like 2000 and something, that I would be able to do the same thing that I did here in Japan. Now I think that maybe I would be able more to do this. Be- Thanks to the internet, of course. Not that there is like a market in Poland suddenly, but yes, I really also like how positive everyone is. I don't even see so much comments that are blocked by YouTube because something. So that's really nice. Usually comments that are obviously rude are blocked by YouTube automatically, by the way, and if I don't click OK on them, they will not be published. Please don't try it. Probably you'll get banned or something. Last Haribo. No. Please zoom away a bit. So I want to add a bit of shadow here on the buildings in the back. Not so much, but just add a little bit dabs of shadow there so they have more details. So I want to use the same color as I used on the clouds. Please go to your online education. I know that in a way this channel maybe is also an online education, but honestly, if I was able to give an advice to a person that's in like education, like middle school, high school, the only advice I would give is like I feel that I wasted a lot of opportunity. I had a lot of time that I was able to just ask my teachers a lot of interesting crap, and I didn't because I was too kind of self conscious or something. And the truth is that if I was I don't know, in middle school again or in high school again, probably in high school, I would just ask the crap out of my teachers, and also in the university, about a lot of stuff that they didn't tell us because they didn't think that it was interesting or whatever. So they just taught us a lot of things that were just was not interesting at all. So we were just bored. But if I would go to like high school again, I would ask my teachers a lot of things, and I would do a lot of things also. So I don't know, if I would had a chance to do chemistry again, I would like just ask a lot of interesting questions that I find somewhere on Wikipedia or whatever, and there's no one now that could just explain it to me. But then I had someone that so yeah, bug your teachers about every little thing that you find interesting, and just use their paid time. Maybe, yeah, if the lesson is over, don't bug them, but when the lesson is on, or you have like a club or something, then just ask them to explain everything that you find interesting. So I don't know, if you like to write poetry, write poetry and show it to your favorite teacher and tell him or her to help you with it. If you like, I don't know, mathematics or whatever, just learn a lot of mathematics by yourself. But if you meet something that you don't understand, just ask your favorite mathematics teacher. Like I was in Japan, and I was really self-conscious because I couldn't speak Japanese so well. So I didn't ask my teachers a lot of things that I really wish I did. Like one of my teachers was the guy who made Gundam, for example, the comic. And I didn't ask him anything because I just felt like I just didn't feel like it, which was weird. I went to the university in Kobe, which is called Kobe like Geijitsu Koka Daigaku, so it's probably like arts and techniques university or something like that in English. And that was a kind of private university, and I went there only because I got a scholarship, so I was able to attend. And because it was a private university, so they had some professors there that were just like professionals from the how do you call it, industry. So I wish I asked them more about industry because later I ended up like joining the industry in a way and then trying to escape from it. So yeah, maybe I would do better if I just asked them stuff before I joined the industry. So how long are we in the stream? Okay, so probably I'll be here about 20 minutes more because I have to end up before it reaches 2 hours. So that's, I think, the limit for the DVR option, so you can review it later on YouTube also. I thought I would be like an IT guy. I even worked in a shop that repaired computers, and I actually liked it a lot. I still like repairing things. So I thought that I would be like an IT person that will be doing programming and websites and these kind of things. Which actually I think was killed in me by the school I went to, because they wanted me to study physics and chemistry on a high level for some reason, which was also probably useful, but at that time I felt just it to be kind of oppressing and not interesting. So yes, mathematics is important for programming, but if it kills your joy in making anything, then maybe you can just ignore it a bit. It's like, I don't know, if you want to become a painter, you have to study like medical medical level anatomy for 4 years and then go to like a university, and the university also requires like medical level anatomy knowledge for you to paint anything. So that's a not really good thing. So yeah, I thought I would be like a programmer or like IT person doing something computer related. Yeah, it's like, but it is important. I was writing, for example, an application. It was really a simple thing that was like in Flash. I just wanted to loop a picture, so when you scroll through it, it loops. And there was like this kind of part to the program that I just wanted to have like the coordinates of the picture in like 2 numbers, so I knew where I was. So I knew when I was going like close to the edge, so we had to loop the animation. And I couldn't just write it. I was too mathematically stupid for it. So I went to the next room, and I was living at that time with a guy who had a doctorate degree in mathematics, and he just looked at it and was like, "Let me just write it for you." And he like wrote 2 lines of code, and it worked. I was like, "Okay, thank you." But it doesn't mean that everyone has to be like perfect mathematical geniuses to do programming, and you don't have to be a perfect anatomy genius for painting and so on. So I really am interested in game development, but this is the same like with 3D with me. Probably if I started doing it, I would realize how much knowledge I'm lacking, and I would be like, no. So it's a nice dream kind of somewhere on the horizon, but if I touch it, I'm really afraid that this game development I want to do someday dream will just collapse. Okay, before I add too much details to this, let's just start on the water, I guess. For the water, maybe I can use a bit sharper brush. Like this one or this one. It should allow me to do like those waves that are a bit sharper. No. Probably someday we will try to do a game with Kana, because we actually have an idea for a game. Actually, Kana has an idea for a game. Usually I would tape the paper or wet it before and let it dry once, so it does not get wavy so much, but this is like in a sketchbook, so it got wavy. I tried to smooth the paint with my brush and waited for it to not be wavy anymore. It's still a bit wavy, so you can see like here the paint like pulled in these waves, but yeah, it's just a sketch. So usually I would use like 300 grams paper, hot pressed or cold pressed for painting, but okay. So let's try the water. I'll just wipe my palette so it's clean. Yeah, I think I saw it on YouTube. It was interesting. I played Zelda. I really liked it. So yeah. I think game developers need art skill in a way, to some degree. It's a different kind of art skill, I'm guessing. The difference is like, for me, I have to paint a shop, but a game developer can build a shop, so it's more a building skill than just representation of something that you imagine, I guess, or you see. But the skill is similar, I guess. I'm wondering what color I should use for the water. I guess the sky is reflected in it, so here it should be like dark because of the buildings, but then it should get like orange and blue. So let's try. So I first will go with the orange and let's see what happens. Yeah. So you can already see that this brush gives a lot different strokes than the one that I used for the top portion, because the tip is really sharp, so it gives me these sharp edges. From this point I want to get a bit more redder and a bit more into the blue. It's not only about the fine or thick, it's also how they are ended. It's like using a brush in Photoshop that has a lot of size depends on pressure option turned on, versus to a brush that does not rely on pressure so much. Yeah, just white gouache. Just pick some paints in tubes or something and try which one is the best. I actually haven't been using the Dr. P.H. Martins for some time now because it is weird. I had one jar of it and it kind of got crystallized inside of the jar for some reason, and I thought, okay, maybe I mixed something to it into it that caused this weird crystallization. So I bought a new jar of this paint and it happened again. So I don't know, maybe if you don't use it for a long time it just kind of gets weird and crystalline inside. It looked like the pigment and the medium, so the thing that the pigment is mixed into that makes the paint just kind of crystallized separately, and no matter how I mixed it, I even put some how do you call it, purified water into it and tried to mix it again. It didn't mix. I maybe would have to use like a how do you call it, like an industry grade mixer or whatever to make it nice and smooth again. So I just tossed it, and recently I have been using just white gouache. Yeah, it's like some inks get old, that's normal, and some paints, if you open them and just leave them, can get like rock hard even in a tube. So yeah, but a paint like this, which is in a jar and you open it and use a little bit of it only to correct some things, because this is just like white paint, so you don't use like tons of it. It should not crystallize so much, like in a so short amount of time. I think I had it like half a year, and the jar went completely useless, and then I bought another one, and after a half a year I already saw the like crystals forming in it, and so I don't know. uh, I wrote to them about that, but I didn't get any answer, so I was like, oh, just whatever. Like I even like made some photos and sent them like a message from their website, and I got no answer. So uh, maybe it's about contamination. I don't know. I haven't used it with anything like aggressive. Though I haven't slept on a watercolor. I have problems with sleeping anywhere outside my futon, and even in my futon I have problems with falling asleep. So I cannot even do a nap. So no, I don't feel my I don't fall asleep while painting, but I fell asleep a few times when I first came to Japan, and it was still like jet lagged. Um, so I fell asleep like a lot, just during classes and stuff like that. But you have to fight to stay awake in times like this. I recommend any paint brand that is for artists that you can get cheaply in your country, like known brand. So if you have Holbein, then go for Holbein. If you have Schminke, then go for Schminke. If you have, I don't know, Mijello, go for Mijello or whatever. It's just like, for example, or you have like the Sennelier in France, for example, which are really good paints and so on. So just go for paints that are if they have like Winsor & Newton, for example. So if you have a maker that's known like Winsor & Newton, and they have like the student grade and professional grade, just go for the professional grade and try to buy paints that are nice and light fast, because the truth is that you don't need so much of them. You just need like a set of maybe 6 or 10 paints to start painting. So it's better to buy less and good quality than more and bad quality that you'll toss later. I haven't used the Pebeo. Like I have enough paints that I don't need to buy more makes, and because I don't do like review videos on my channel, I don't get any offers either. So the people from Mijello were nice enough, because the paint was not on sale in Japan. So when they came to Japan, they offered me a set of these paints that I'm using right now, and because they are really good paints, I'm using them a lot. But I have my own like Schminke sets, which also I use, and I don't need more. I have Holbein also, which is good. This is actually what I began with here in Japan. This is Sumida-gawa, so Sumida River, in Tokyo. I go there for my runs. This is the reference that I'm using here. So to keep fit a bit, I run and also do the Nintendo how do you call it, Ring Fit game. So today on my running session I saw this kind of sunset scene with a nice cloud there, so I tried to recreate it in this 2 hours sketch while talking to you. And I will be ending this soon because I'm close to the 2 hour limit for the stream. But it's almost finished. Too dark a bit. I know more or less what colors to use because wait, let me. I know more or less what colors to use because I painted a lot of pictures, and only practice can give you that. I guess there's no like golden formula for like making shadows this color or making like buildings this color or something. It's just trying things out and seeing what works and remembering the things that worked, that gives you this knowledge. And I don't think that it actually can be learned like through just like having a lesson or something. そろそろ終わるよ。So just paint a lot of things that you like and try to remember what worked and what didn't work and why. And over time you will have a library of kind of tricks that you can use. And that's it, I think. Yes, I just passed 2 hours. I have to finish it. Okay, so more or less like this. Yay! Let me zoom out. Let me dry this so it's not so shiny. Okay, so that's it. I'll just pick it up like this. So the main part was this cloud here. I wanted to paint it, and because I saw it and it looked cool, so I wanted to paint this cloud. And I used this reference picture for the contents, but I tried to make my own colors in it. So this is the main scene. I'm not considering making a Twitch account right now because I already have YouTube and all kinds of other things, also Patreon. So maybe if I feel that I want to stream more like things, then maybe, but not right now. Okay, thank you for joining me today. I hope you had fun watching me paint this and chatting. And yeah, I'll be seeing you next time on YouTube and also on a new streams. I want to do some streams. And now that I have a new Mac, the M1 Mac, which really does not make a sound when I'm streaming, it's easier for me to stream because I don't have to deal with the sound of the computer all the time. So I'll be streaming more, I guess. That's a good thing. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. Have a nice day, night, morning, or whatever. And I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you.